Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
It's March Mania at Sports Interaction. NHL, NBA, March Madness, MLB, and so much more. It's bananas. Play Pinata Picks and Minute Madness, exclusive games with insane odds you can't play anywhere else. Make your next bet with Sports Interaction. Download the app using the QR code you see at the bottom of the screen or head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN to get started. 19 and older, please play responsibly. Welcome, Leafs fans, to Game Over Toronto. My name's Harnish, and I'm joined by Armaan tonight for Game 75 against the Senators. The Leafs took on the Sens at home and took 2 points in a 3-0 shutout for Samsonov in net tonight. Fantastic game. We'll talk a little bit more about Samsonov, but I think we got to start off with the Zahornet's nest, TM Steve Dangle. Fantastic phrase, by the way. I love it. Zahorna, who made his debut for the Leafs tonight, got the third goal. His first goal as a Leaf in his first game of the season. And yeah, it was just fantastic to see. Zahorna, who we picked up from the Calgary Flames at the trade deadline for Dryden Hunt. Yeah, what'd you think about that goal?
Yeah, I thought it was good. He was on the ice for like 3 seconds, and DJ Smith was complaining after because, and I honestly think rightfully so. It probably should have been a too many men because Zahorna came on early. Like Tavares was not off the ice.
Yeah,
but he gets in position and then just wires one. It's just a solid shot, and he used it a couple times. I think he had 3 shots on net. I want to say
even in the third period, he had a
really good
chance
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was just a great shot. It's nice to see. Because, when you see him and he's like 6'6", you're not expecting skill. And there are a couple things that I want to get to in his game. But, yeah, like, I kind of liked it. He played physical. You can tell he's 6'6", and unlike, like when Pierre Engvall plays and he's like 6'5", but no one knows that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the big thing. This guy is a 6'6" player. He's 220 pounds, a behemoth of a man. He was throwing his body around, and I checked some of Calgary's notes when they had him as well, and when they picked him up from the Penguins. And yeah, he's a player that likes to throw his body around, and he also has some offensive upside. I was looking back at his at some of his stats, and with the Calgary Wranglers, he had 10 goals and 19 assists, and then after joining in the Leafs organization, in 6 games, he's gotten 1 goal, 1 assist, and his first game of the season for the Leafs. He got a goal himself there, and could have easily had a second as well in that third period. So a lot of good signs and a lot of depth that he kind of brings here, right?
Yeah, he's got some solid AHL numbers. I don't think he's ever really stuck to good production in the NHL. But 29 points in 40 games for the Wranglers in the AHL is pretty solid. But at the same time, you kind of see some holes in his game, specifically in this game, with carrying the puck in. I saw two instances where I think he could have driven the net, and it was a 2-on-1 situation, but he sort of doesn't have the puck skills, at least with carrying the puck, to be a productive NHL player. But that's not, he's a bottom sixer. You're not expecting high level production from him. But yeah, I liked his game. I thought he was pretty solid. What I was really surprised about is that, we have like 7 games left and he was the one that got called up. Like, you'd think that Holmberg or McMahon or Steves or someone who's been around the organization would get the call up because we're so close to playoffs. Like, I'm curious what they're doing here. Like, are they seeing what they have in Zahorna so that he's the potential depth piece they call up, or is this just, to get a body in? I have no idea. I was really surprised.
Yeah. I think the big thing was, well, for tonight, I'm not sure about the long-term plans, but tonight it was they were looking for Wayne Simmons, right? Especially with Achari, Ryan O'Reilly, and we had a couple people out, right? And Wayne Simmons was sick, right? So I thought that maybe it was just a 1-for-1. You get another physical body that has that kind of physical presence on the ice and throw him in there and then see how he works. I mean, we're playing against the Senators, right? It's not a fantastic team by any means, and they're also injury riddled right now,
Very
right?
injured. We'll talk about that
Ridiculous.
too. Yeah.
So they haven't had a good stretch themselves. So I think it's at this point Sheldon Keefe's kind of just playing around, seeing what options we have available and seeing what we can rely on come the playoffs, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Zahorna had 4 shots on goal. I just checked in 6 minutes and 15 seconds of ice time, which honestly is pretty impressive. I thought he was really in the correct spots. I think, he shot twice from the same spot, and one of them went in. But the other one was, I didn't necessarily like the shot selection the best, but at the same time, like, I can't complain because he literally scored in the exact same location the next time he shot from there. I think he actually has a pretty decent shot. I haven't seen too much of his play, but yeah, like, I kind of liked his shot. I liked how physical he was. I liked how he threw his body around. I like how he protected the puck, even though he didn't have the puck skills to necessarily make the most offensive play. He was hard to knock off the puck. Like, he used his body to protect it very well. So I was impressed with what little we saw of him. Getting a goal obviously helps.
Yeah, definitely. And another player that's had a pretty good game, who's had a little bit of, well, Leafs fans have reasonably so thrown him a little bit of flack with how he played in the away games, but Ilya Samsonov, a shutout win tonight, a statement game, and yeah, like, it was just fantastic to see, because how well he plays at home. Is just being able to kind of find the rhythm when it comes to the away games, and finally he gets a big shutout win, which is going to be great for the confidence as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was excellent. Like, this was not an easy game. We'll talk about Ottawa in a second, because this should have been a win for Toronto. Ottawa's missing, I think it's Chabot, Hamonic, and Chikrin. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, like, that's 3 of their most time on ice defensemen on the team, and they've got 2 rookies now in the lineup because of that.
Mm-hmm.
They played pretty well given the circumstances, especially in that first period. Samsonov had to stand on his head. There were at least 3 or 4 saves that could have been goals. Like, and there were even more, like, chances that didn't end up as shots because Ottawa just flubbed it. But yeah, Sammy gets a much deserved shutout. There was the one with he kept the pad down on the one time
where he kind of wedged
crease.
it in between the ice and the pads. Fantastic.
And then he flashed the leather on I forgot who it was. I think it was DeBrincat in the third period in the slot.
Yeah.
It was a beauty. Yeah, Samsonov, excellent today.
Yeah, he's playing really well. And it's great to see him kind of picking up and getting into his stride, especially coming into the playoffs. The playoffs are going to be here soon. I think we're like, what, 7 games away now? Pretty close, 7 or 6 games away. So
and we'll see Murray at home tomorrow, so that's going to be interesting. Keefe actually had a quote about it, and he said it's more about like workload on the road versus home. So it's interesting to see that they put Samsonov on the away game and Murray on the home game, given the results. But I think that's also just coincidence. Like, I don't know how much it actually plays a factor in the goalie.
You think it's coincidence
versus home? I don't know.
No.
It seems coincidence.
He knows the stats.
No,
Sheldon Keefe understands the stats and knows how.
I think it's just the way the schedule fell.
No, don't give me that. Don't give me that.
How the road.
Do you think Sheldon Keefe doesn't understand that Samsonov before this game? Well, after this game, he's still a .89, and then at home he's a 9.27. He's 100% chosen.
In their previous teams were like this. This is just this year. It's not a trend.
Oh, it's a trend for this year. You got to play with what you have right now.
It doesn't make
sense.
On. There's no factors there.
You got to play with what you have. Sheldon Keefe realized that Samsonov's a little shaky away, and guess what? We're gonna have to play away games when it comes to the Tampa series. Might as well get him some reps, get him some confidence going. That's what I think.
Warrior Womp has a great question in the chat. He says, "Who's your prediction for the first fight in the playoffs for the Leafs?"
Well, it's gotta be Shen throwing the gloves.
Oh, dude, I would love that. Holy shit! Did you like? Obviously,
We'll
you
get to
saw
that.
this. You
We'll get to
watched the
that. We'll
game.
get to that. We'll get to that.
The
We'll get to
execution,
that. We'll get to
that's
that.
insane.
I know. We'll get to that. Don't worry. All right, let's talk a little bit about the goals that we saw tonight. Right. Today we opened up the scoring with Michael Bunting. Bunts had a fantastic shot, an equally fantastic pass from McCabe, using the boards to his avail, and he deflects it, or
That was a
the
tough
pass.
reception. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets
Bunting, like,
deflected, goes off of stick, gets airborne, and Bunton was able to collect it, do like a 360, and then snipe it on Sogard. And yeah, it was a fantastic shot, but also a fantastic collection nonetheless.
yeah, and like the reception was very hard for Bunting, and it's a tough release as well because he was kind of facing the other way and spins and shoots it, and he placed it so perfectly. Like that was like you cannot blame Sogard for letting that in. It was a
Yeah.
perfectly placed shot that was probably very unexpected given the release was like a spinorama. And it's just nice to see because he had a rough go in March. In his last 11 games, they showed this on the broadcast. He had 2 goals and 4 points. That's it.
Mhm.
So, nice to see him, get something on the board and pick it up before playoffs because, he's going to be an important part of the team, especially because our left wing depth is not very that good. So yeah, it's nice to see. And after this goal, he actually got quite a few more shifts with that Matthews Marner line. Now, obviously, this could be just a symptom of being 11-7 and lines moving around, but it was interesting to see nonetheless that they
Mhm.
kind of went back to that for a couple shifts. Now, I still like Yarncroke there more, um, given, and he also had a couple chances to pot one, but just missed the net or couldn't get a stick on it. But yeah, it's just interesting to see. I think it'll do wonders for his confidence, Bunting's confidence, because I think that's been somewhat lacking recently, especially given the way the refs have handled Bunting in the recent history. Like, I think he's lacked a certain Buntingness about him this past month. So I'm kind of hoping he like picks it up, and it'll be interesting to see if he gets top 6 minutes come playoff time.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
was
I'm
thinking about
curious.
it because like if you have Ryan O'Reilly coming in, and you're kind of sold on putting him in as the third line center, why not just keep Bunting with him, right? You get another guy that can be scrappy, play hard, be a little pest, but also has that offensive upside, right? Get Ryan O'Reilly some offensive partnership, or someone who can play off of him as well, right?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. The only thing I worry about is how well Bunting will do with mainly defensive minutes. Like, I think if we have Ryan O'Reilly on the third line,
Yep.
I'm curious how they would deploy him. Like, would you give Matthews and Tavares those lines just like offensive sheltered minutes, and then just leave the defensive assignments to Ryan O'Reilly and obviously David Camp's line because you're not giving them offense. But it'll be interesting. Like Bunting obviously has some defensive woes about him. I think
Mhm.
there's a reason he's not used on the PK. Um, so
And he's
I'm
also not
curious
the ref's
to see what
friends,
they do.
so
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
also that too.
I like him more than Kerfoot on the Tavares line. Like if he gets put there with Nylander, I think that's a better line shakeup, and then moving Kerfoot to the Ryan O'Reilly line. But at the same time, yeah, he does add a scoring touch, and that could definitely benefit. It depends on how they deploy their lineups. Really, I don't know how they're planning on using Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah, I think that's the one upside that the Leafs have this season, where you kind of have a lot of flexibility. You can put players all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how Keefe plays around with this going forward. But another Leafs player who got another goal tonight and is tied for the most goals in the season, William Nylander.
What? I for the most goals in the season. That's
For
not
the Leafs.
for Leafs.
For the
Okay,
Leafs,
okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh,
no
you think
one's
I'm talking about
catching. No
McDavid?
one's catching
Come on,
anything.
Armaan. For the
You gotta
Leafs.
specify.
Nah, Leafs
Yeah,
fan.
he's
Listen,
at
the whole
what,
universe
37?
revolves around the Leafs. It's the Leafs and
We
only
are
the
the
Leafs.
lead.
No, yeah, but Willie, it was interesting because Tavares loses the faceoff. We'll talk about the faceoffs as well this game, but Kerf was able to intercept a Nick Holden pass, and he was able to get a quick backhand pass straight to Nylander, and Nylander just makes it look very,
Easy.
very easy. It
Yeah, I
didn't even
mean,
look
he
like
had a lot of time to get that shot off though. Like that was a pretty easy like for William Nylander, of course. Like
It
You know,
was, but also the slot, like it just impresses me every single time when I see these NHL players just take these shots, and it had to go straight under Sogard's arm,
yeah,
right? There wasn't a lot of
it was a
space,
perfectly
but
placed shot.
yeah, he makes it look easy, and it's just crazy to see the skill that's in the league nowadays. But yeah, Willie, he's having a killer season right now, and it's nice to see him getting another one tonight.
Yeah, that puts him to 82 points as well. So secures him, the point per game, even if he goes pointless for the next 8, which let's hope doesn't happen. But I also want to shout out Kerfoot because he got that backhand pass through like 4 guys.
Yeah, that
Like I
was
was not
a lot of
expecting that
players
to
up
get
there.
through, and it kind of just like it just managed to get across. But yeah, great play. I thought Nylander, made good with the few chances that we did get. I thought we finished very well. Like we only had 20 shots this game, but it never felt like we were behind, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we were just finishing on everything, we had a chance on, and Ottawa really struggled to finish today. So
Yeah,
clearly.
I mean I think the first period was the only time where I was like, hey, there's a couple moments here and there that the Sens were kind of shelling us a bit, but as soon as the second period started, the within the first quarter of that period, like you got a goal, you're
Oh yeah.
controlling the play, and you get a
Within the
bunch
first
of great
4
shots.
minutes,
4
we had a
minutes, there you go.
goal, 2 posts, 2 2-on-1 chances, and a penalty draw.
Yeah, see,
It
they
literally
bounced
just
back
took,
so
like
well.
4 minutes within the second period to know that, like, yeah, we're probably going to win this game because they just took over, and then after they went up like 2 or 3, it was sort of just play defensively, and I thought they did a pretty good job at that as well. So
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. One thing that I did see, if there was any area of, I guess, like criticism or something for the Leafs to kind of work on, despite it being a 3-0 game, like come on, was the face off win percentage. I believe the Leafs, let me look at the stats today.
I mean,
They had
yeah, go ahead.
46% of the face off wins against
Yeah.
the Sens tonight. For a team that's, especially with Tavares wins a ton of his face offs. The only area where I'm like, all right, maybe you can improve on that, but again, you can't really say much
It's just
when
a
you win
1 game
3-0.
sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a 1 game sample. Like I'm not worried about faceoffs in the playoff. Like, we have 82 games to work off of, in like
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
they've got great faceoff. I don't know what they are in the league, but I'm pretty sure it's top 3 or top 5 at least.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that, especially with Ryan O'Reilly, another guy who's fucking elite at
Killer.
faceoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthews is great at faceoffs, Camp's great at faceoff, and Tavares is great at faceoffs. And then on top of that, you have all your wingers who also center, like Sam Lafferty and Alex Kerfoot, who, if they need to step in, can win a faceoff. I'm not worried about that at all, to be honest. I think this team is excellent at faceoffs. But yeah, this game, they sort of sucked at it. So fair point, well made.
Hey, you mentioned Ryan O'Reilly. He rejoined practice today, eh? He was in a red no contact jersey,
yes.
so it's good to see him finally making his way back, and hopefully he'll be back in the lineup sometime soon, right? But with the
I want to
broken
see him
finger
get
injury,
in.
it's tough.
Yeah. I want to see him get in for at least like 3 or 4 games, though.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see him at least because, you're out for a while. You're not going to be 100% right.
Let's just
on the
throw him
first
in
game, so.
the second last game of the season against the Lightning in the series preview.
Honestly, both of us are probably going to be resting people unless it's a close race for home ice advantage.
Yeah.
Like, if it's already decided by then, I don't see why anyone would be like risking injury.
Yeah, see,
But
if we win, it's the Leafs are winning the series. If we lose, it's just based off of resting. It doesn't they didn't play hard.
Exactly. It can only turn out well.
Hey,
But have you seen Tampa's, like, they're getting scary again. Like,
yeah, they won 2
skid
in a
for
row
March,
and
3 in a row.
Is
and
it 3
it was
today?
4-0
Uh-huh.
a win against the Hurricanes, 5-1 a win against the Capitals, and they won again today 5-0 against the Islanders.
Dude,
They
I
let in
swear
1 goal in 3 games.
Tampa has a switch. They have a
14.
switch where you just turn it on. It's time for the playoffs. All right, time to get going again.
Dude, I'm actually like terrified now. When they were skidding, I was like, okay, maybe they've taken a step back and it's not going. And then they like 3 games in and they were just dominating everyone. And Vasilevsky looks like insanely good again, and I'm like, oh shit, oh, not again.
Yeah, if the Leafs managed to fumble tonight's game, I would have put it past Tampa to somehow win home ice, but Yeah, getting 2 points today pretty much secure it. Tampa's looking scary. It's gonna be. I
It's gonna be
really,
a
really
battle,
hope
man.
that they play hard on the second last game of the series preview, purely because it would be so much fun. I can't wait for that game. That's the
Yeah,
two. That's the two games. It was that game and also the Boston game that I'm
the Bruins
super
game.
super
Yeah,
interested about for
man, the
our final
Bruins
couple
are
games.
insane because they've already like clinched first place,
And
so
they're
they can
also 9-1
literally
right now, despite clinching
their
like
last 10.
yeah. The last time they're 9 and
Yeah,
1.
I mean they've the last like 12 games in the season. They're ridiculous. I hope the President's Trophy Chris gets them. I don't know who's gonna make that wild card 2 slot. It's looking like it might be Florida now.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun series. Florida's gonna get slapped, but that'll be a fun series. Like the Panthers have a really high octane offense, so
isn't it interesting to see the drop in the Panthers from last season to this season?
yeah, they won 7-0 today, but they were against the Jackets.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, Carter Verhaeghe, 4 goals today. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
On the Panthers.
Wow.
Yeah. An ex-Leaf.
All right,
legend.
they're
He was traded for who was it? I'm gonna look this up. It was a wild trade. For Hague. I think it was for Grabner when we got him from the Islanders.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was like a six-person trade from the Leafs to the Islanders, and Verhaeghe was one of the prospects that was traded. And
Remind me of the trade again.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on.
Okay, while you're pulling it up, let's talk about Shen. Dude, Shen, my boy got robbed in that third period. Did you see that when the Sens pulled their goalie?
Yeah,
it was
amazing.
going straight
that
in.
Was amazing.
What was amazing?
The save that Sanderson.
The save with Sanderson?
Shen?
Yeah, I don't care. Screw you, Sanderson. My boy hasn't had a goal in over a decade for the Leafs, and you couldn't let him have it. In a 3-0 win, you could have just let him have one. You're basically playing in a home. It's basically a home game for the Leafs. The stands were all full of Leafs fans. And
you can tell the Sens knew too. They were working to just ruin the shutout. The game was over in the last minute. They had the empty net going, and they were just fucking shooting after shot. They just wanted to ruin the shutout and just make our days bad. But yeah. That was a crazy save. He also saved the other one. I forget who shot it on the Leafs. But it was near the end. But he blocked a shot there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that hustle, Sanderson. Good job.
It's okay. The only reason I'm semi okay with it is so Shen actually gets a goal for the Leafs at home in Toronto.
In 2015, before the season started, we traded to acquire Michael Grabner.
Mm-hmm.
For 6 players, all of them prospects. Matthew Finn, Christopher Gibson, Tom Nilsson, Taylor Beck, and Carter Verhaeghe. The only one I recognized is Verhaeghe, and he turned out to be a 40-goal scorer.
Yeah.
So, interesting trade.
All right, let's see Steve do a trade tree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
Fun times.
Uh-huh. Well, tonight, I mean, easy game. It was a fun game. We'll see. I mean, what else are you gonna say? It was an easy game. The Leafs played a fantastic game through and through. They got up 3-0 and they won in a shutout, right? Tomorrow we're gonna be playing against the Detroit Red Wings. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be second half of back-to-back with Matt Murray, and like you mentioned. So let's see how Murray plays, because listen, I am Team Wall right now. Put in Wall, baby.
I mean, Wall was excellent, but I'm curious to I want to see Murray ramp up, because I'm hoping we never have to use him in the playoffs. But it'd be nice to have faith in your backup. So,
yeah, I mean, back your not your direct backup, but your backup's backup, because Wall is going to take up that backup position.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, let's. I'm all aboard the Wall hype train. All right, he's coming in.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of these defense? Is this the defensive pairing that you would go for in playoffs? We had McCabe Brody with and then Gio Hall, Riley Shen.
McCabe Brody.
And we've had this for a couple games now.
Yes.
I'm curious what you think. Yeah.
So it's interesting because
And then Liljegren was the 7th.
Yeah. I loved seeing Riley Brody play together, but in the last couple of games, Riley Shen has worked really, really well. I'm surprised. Yeah. I didn't think that they would work well together. I thought they would have flopped pretty hard. they're
Well,
working well together. McCabe Brody is working really well together. Geo Hall. Um, the only thing I would maybe consider is maybe like putting in Liljegren for Hall if Hall has a bad game here and there. But again, Hall plays in a lot of special teams, so there's that.
yeah, I think Hall is just
That's
too
the
valuable
only
on the
yeah.
PK.
That's
Yeah,
the
he
only
also
thing.
yeah, he had a really good PK play today to take away a pass that probably would have been a tap in. I think
Exactly.
Hall
Exactly.
is too useful on the penalty kill, and
Yeah.
I know that some people hate him, and I understand why, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's too useful.
Yeah.
The thing
What
with
do you think?
Shen, yeah, I agree. I agree. I think this is what I would go for, and I would keep it like this. And Liljegren's seventh guy. If someone gets injured, he's going to be the first guy out.
Hmm.
But the thing with
Not
Riley and Shen
Gustafson,
is
right?
not Gus.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the thing with Gustafson and Timmins is they're two like niche players.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
in terms of you have
essentially
to play them
he's a
in
power play
only certain
specialist.
context.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with Riley Shen is the thing that really worried me is Shen's foot speed. And it's happened a couple times in the previous like few games where you can kind of see how it would be an issue if Riley ends up, getting caught down low and then there's a 2-on-1 back.
Mhm.
Shen is not a fast skater.
Yeah.
The really nice thing about Brody is like he was always back, but even if he wasn't, he had the foot speed to get back to make defensive plays.
Exactly.
And it happens a lot playing with Riley. He jumps up all the damn time. So you kind of, but the thing that I've noticed with Shen is he doesn't ever really jump up.
Yeah.
Like he's
That's kind of the
always-
reason why it's worked, right? Because initially I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing. He's too slow to be on a line with Riley, especially because Riley loves playing up, right? That's why I was thinking Riley Brody, because that's worked in the past, and that's been a good line. But yeah, like you said, I think Shen has just worked really well positionally. He just always
like
is in the right place.
There was that one time, I don't know when it was. It must have been either last game or the game before, where Shen took a shot, it hit the opposing team's player, and then they were both rushing back to get to the puck, and
Mhm.
Shen was nowhere fucking close. Like it was just a full on breakaway. He didn't even come close to like putting on pressure, and that's what scares me the most.
Yeah.
So I think if you're doing the Riley Shen pairing, what's best is having McCabe and Brody take those first line minutes. You
Mhm.
know that they can handle them. You don't put Riley in a situation where he's like with Hall on first line minutes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the worst thing for Riley is like, and it kind of sucks because he's a $7.5 million player for us, and you kind of have to pick and choose your battles with Riley. Like he's just not this Hedman like defenseman where you can, he's good all around. He has defensive woes. So you do have to pick and choose his partner and the situations you put him in. But that's the way it goes. But like I think they've done a good job at putting Riley and Shen in positions to succeed, right? Without giving them 2 hard minutes, and then because Shen's not a top pairing defenseman, you know?
Mhm.
Like that's just not a thing. And Riley is not defensive enough to be paired with Shen on a top pairing. So I like what they've done with it though. Like McCabe Brody, Geo Hall, both can take really tough minutes, and Riley and Shen can eat up any of the other minutes. Like they're really good players as well. And so I've just this is the deep pairing that I would go with into the playoffs, especially with Liljegren sort of faltering recently.
Yeah.
He's had a couple mistakes here and there. So,
Mhm.
and he's a young kid. That's gonna happen. Like don't put your expectations too high for rookies in the playoffs. And yeah, I'm very except for Matthew Knies, of course.
I was just gonna say
Expect the greatest things from him. He will be fully formed as an NHL elite player as soon as he steps on the ice.
playing no games for the Leafs yet.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that they've been winning, like the University of
No,
Minnesota's been winning.
I want to see him continue winning. I don't care.
I know, but like the earliest he can come is Thursday, I think.
Who cares? Let him play. Let
That's
him
when
win.
they next play. I know.
Yeah.
But I just want to see him on either on the Leafs or the Marlies. I want to see him play.
I know. We'll see him soon enough. Yeah. you know what can't come soon enough though?
Playoff.
Game. Yeah. That too. The playoffs. Yes. You messed up my transition. Game Over Pro Wrestling will be on tonight. Tonight, Fuad is gonna be hosting Game Over Pro Wrestling right after WrestleMania 39. It should be up actually in like an hour.
Yeah, because it started at 8:00, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
WrestleMania.
That's
Yeah,
going to
so
be exciting. I saw one clip tonight. It was fucking hilarious. So it was like I think it was like Seth Rollins and Logan Paul fighting or whatever. And
Logan
then
Paul.
yeah, he's a wrestler now. He's a pro wrestler.
I didn't know that. What the
Bro,
hell?
where have you been living?
No, I've clearly not been keeping up with the polls.
All right, do you even know that
I
these
didn't
guys
know
are?
Jake Paul lost
Do you know
as
what
well.
Prime
I
is?
found that out like a week later. What?
Do you know what Prime is? The drink?
No.
Oh my God, you're such a boomer, man. What is wrong with you?
I'm 25. I don't keep up with that anymore.
Jesus Christ. Okay. You know what? I'll talk to the Leafs fans, all right? There was a funny clip. Paul and Seth Rollins are fighting. Seth Rollins is on a table. Logan Paul tries to go for the slam. KSI is in like a fucking
KSI?
Prime suit. Yeah.
Is he a wrestler too?
No, he's a co-found. He's co-owns Prime and like drink or whatever.
Okay.
Google the thing. You've seen it.
Very
They're on
out
the
of it.
wrestling. They're on the UFC thing too. They sponsor the UFC. Anyways, he's dressed up like in a full Prime costume. Seth Rollins grabs him, throws him on the table, and Logan Paul, bam, slams onto him. The funniest exchange ever, because KSI was just chirping it the entire time. Anyways, I can't wait for
I'm sure
Fuad.
Fuad will talk about it.
Yeah, because you're
Also-
a boomer, man. I hate talking to you with this, man.
Kyle Cushman's also going to be on it.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
from,
exciting.
Game Over Toronto guest.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Game Over folks that are going to be on it. So
Yeah, be
Check
sure
it
to
out.
tune in for that. That's gonna be exciting. Thank God Armand's not gonna be there because he's
Yeah, I mean, I'm-
useless on this.
I don't know anything about wrestling. I'm sorry. I didn't watch it as a kid. All I know is John Cena because of the memes and I guess The Rock because of also the memes.
All right. Well, let's end it here before other fans come in with pitchforks and ask for your head. All right, that's gonna do it here from us. Thank you guys for tuning in to Game Over Toronto. If you're a new fan of the series, welcome. We'd love to have you. Make sure you like and subscribe. It does a lot for the algorithm. And you can follow us. Armaan, go for it.
You can follow me on Twitter at Armaan Panthiki.
And you can follow me at Twitter at Harnish_Psel98. That's going to do it here from us. Tomorrow we'll be playing against the Red Wings, so be sure to tune in for that. And Game Over Pro Wrestling should be on soon. Good night, everyone.
Peace.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.